Hello. Happy Winning Wednesday, everyone. Okay, so we're going to talk about something that is a little bit not, well, I wouldn't say not in line, but that I don't talk about very often, I guess you could say. This kind of actually made a lot of sense to me. I would say whenever I first learned of this, I was like, oh, that's why. So we're actually going to be talking about fitness and like weight and body composition and, like why, a lot of us could be doing like the correct things, right? Like the things that everything's right, on paper, and maybe still not see the results that we expect. So, um, and like this may actually make you feel a little bit better about those rest days. So, um, the thing is, it is more important to train your brain than it is to actually exercise. And so, yeah, it sounds kind of like what? Like I don't understand. But like there's a layer to this conversation which is actually going to kind of hit differently because I am going to make this personal. So, if you heard my Monday message that went out by email, training in a sympathetic state, which is your fight or flight response. This is your survival mode. If you are training in that state, you will not build muscle. You will not burn fat, at least not in the way that we think it does. And so I want to tell you why I know this to actually be true, not just from research, but with my own body, because, and I also kind of want to show like how this goes far beyond like the gym and eating healthy and all that stuff and change the way that you think about, you know, pretty much this crosses into every area of your life. So my story, there was a time when I looked by every like external standard like I had it all together physically. Like of course, like I've talked about, like I've had the nice car, the nice house, the nice job, like the family, the kids, but also um I was doing, hit and CrossFit, like 5 to 6 days a week. Like I had six packs, abs, like I had muscles. And my body looked really strong, but I was absolutely exhausted like every single day. And so the part of this was like I was under eating, I was over supplementing, so like my liver was freaking working double time, and I was pushing my body past its limits on a daily basis. There was this amazing thing I learned about electrolytes, um, where I would come out of a workout and I would feel freaking spent like for the rest of the day. And so I thought I was being disciplined and I thought I was doing all the right things. So I thought the exhaustion was just part of like the process of doing the things. And like I had a coach at the time and I was like, it's weird because like I smell burnt rubber like after I work out really hard. And she's all like, you mean like urine smell? And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess it could be kind of like a urine smell, but it smells like burnt rubber to me. And she's like, oh, well, that's actually because your body is burning muscle. It's burning your muscle. So, like I'm essentially like thinking I'm earning my results by like suffering for them. So my body was like waving the white flag. It was giving me all the signs. Like, and every single day I ignored it because I'm like, oh, this is today's workout. It doesn't matter like what my recovery was last night, and we're gonna freaking go for it, right? And so like I'm overriding my signals. I was drinking more caffeine. I was, using all the willpower I could muster. Like, and it was more of the grind mentality. Like our society, our culture is actually selling this as like virtue. Like it's, pat on the back, you're working really hard, And my body eventually stopped waving the flag. It stopped asking and it started demanding. So, um, again, like I was exhausted and I'm like, okay, well, there's something wrong here. So, like, of course, go to doctors. They don't fucking find anything. I go get my own testing done through a place called Function Health. And so that is kind of like they run all the labs that your doctors don't normally run, you know? Um, Even though I'm like freaking at, like, I have an endocrinologist because I have thyroid disease. Um, Telling her I'm exhausted, she's like, well, let's just up your freaking medication, right? Like, going to a gastroenterologist because still, like, bowel issues. He wants to give me something to make me use the restroom more, even though like I was basically swinging so far back and forth between constipation and diarrhea. Um, and then like I went and got food sensitivity testing on my own. You like I started doing all these things because like Western healthcare basically saying, oh, this is just part of getting older, right? So get all this testing done. That's when I come back positive for autoimmune disorder. So, like it's basically got sent to like rheumatology, hematology, like all these things. And it's basically like that was a moment I had to kind of stop and actually really ask myself, like, is it worth it to do all this, right? Like, what was I doing? I'm pushing myself to exhaustion just to look good, right? And so I was not only doing this to my body, but to my nervous system because it's what I had been doing for years. Like, of course, I freaking got into a career in healthcare, which is probably the most nervous system dysregulating thing on the planet because it's like you freaking CT. I'm a CT tech, so it's essentially I was working where I was constantly like like you're basically like an assembly line for patients. Like all the freaking patients through the ER come through you because well, we won't talk about that, but it's like the doctors do not know how to do their jobs without imaging. So in the ER, it's like all the patients come through you. In the clinic, like you have a schedule, which is always running behind because something always happens. Like, you have somebody that's hard to get an IV on or whatever it is. So I was in constant like go, go, go mode, like constantly pushing. And so I was putting my body in a state of such prolonged stress that my immune system literally turned on itself. So, this is what happens when a body does not feel safe for long enough. It stops trying to perform and it starts just trying to survive another day. So, the physiology of what was actually happening to me and what could be happening to you too, but when your body is in a chronic sympathetic state, cortisol is constantly going to stay elevated. Cortisol in sustained doses, especially high doses, is one of the most destructive hormones in the body. It breaks down muscle tissue for fuel, which is why I was smelling that urine smell or burnt rubber smell. It signals fat cells, especially around the abdomen and lower body, to hold on and store. And it suppresses thyroid function. Hello, hypothyroid. Disrupts sex hormones. Impairs digestion. Hello, constipation. Tanks your immune system. Hello. Like your body is not, like, it wasn't being difficult. And it wasn't trying to betray me. It was doing exactly what evolution designed it to do when it perceives that resources are scarce and danger is present. So it is conserving. It's protecting. It is holding on to every calorie it can because it generally does not know when the threat is going to end. So the cruel irony is that the harder you push in this state, the more your body is going to like dig in and hold on. More cortisol, more holding, more of the exact opposite of what you're working so hard to achieve. So the answer here was never more. The answer was safety. So I want to be honest with you because I think it'll help you feel less alone in this. Even now, even knowing everything I know, having lived through what my body went through, I still hear that voice. The one that says, like you didn't work out enough this week. Or the one that says rest is going to make you fall behind. Or the one that whispers that if you're not pushing, you're going to get softer and slower and less. So the voice that's in there, it's not wisdom. It's actually a conditioned program. It is the internalized version of every, fitness culture message that was out there that told us our worth was measured in output and our bodies were problems to be solved through, punishment. So I do not argue with that voice anymore. I don't try to silence it either. I just don't let it make my decisions. So how I make this really easy for me is my metrics. So this is where it kind of gets practical because I don't make training decisions based on guilt or the calendar or what I think I should be doing. I make them based on data. So when that data tells me, and it actually tells me more about my nervous system state than any other feeling ever could. The most important metric I track is my HRV, which is heart rate variability. So this is one of the most powerful windows into your nervous system that actually exists. So HRV measures is the variation between each of your heartbeats. And so this might sound counterintuitive, but at a higher variation is actually better. When your nervous system is regulated and your body feels safe, your heart does not beat like a metronome. It has a natural, subtle rhythm of variation that reflects your body's ability to adapt and respond. So variability is actually a sign of resilience. So when your HRV is low, it means your nervous system is under stress. Your body is in a more rigid, adaptive state. So it's working hard just to be at baseline. Training is hard on a low HRV day. And it's like essentially, pushing the gas pedal down when the car is already overheating. So beyond HRV, I'll also look at my deep sleep quality, my recovery score, whether I wake up hungry, how my energy feels before I even get out of bed, whether my resting heart rate is elevated. These actually are not vanity metrics. Like these are your nervous system giving you data points. And so when those numbers are good, I will train. When they are not, I will rest. Or, have like a lower output day, like yoga or something. And so I've learned to trust that rest on a depletion day does more for my body composition than a hard workout ever does in that state. So here's where I kind of want to zoom out because this is a part where I think is maybe the most important thing I'm going to say. A nervous system that does not feel safe does not just hold body fat, it holds everything, holds on to everything. It holds you in freeze, in indecision, in a loop of almost, but not quite. And the pattern of getting close to what you want and then pulling back right before it comes in. A nervous system, a dysregulated nervous system, rather, it spills into every single area of your life. This is your relationships. They might feel harder because your body's braced for threat. And, intimacy kind of requires safety, your business might feel stuck because creativity and bold decision making live in the parasympathetic state and you can't access them from fight or flight. Your finances might feel like a ceiling you can't break, or rather break through, because abundance requires a nervous system that believes it's safe to receive and safe to expand. So freeze state, I want to say here, is not laziness. It's not lack of motivation or ambition. It's simply your body and a nervous system that's been running on stress for so long that they're actually forgetting what safety feels like. And from that place, everything's going to feel harder than it needs to be. Like, it's not because you're not capable, but because you're trying to build a life from a body that's stuck in survival mode. And that's why nervous system regulation is not, like just a wellness trend. It's actually foundation, because it's the thing that makes everything possible. Workouts, business growth, relationships, money, creativity, all of it flows more easily when your nervous system is regulated. So you cannot hustle your way into safety. You're not going to be able to push your way into expansion. You have to create the internal conditions for it to hold it all. Once you do that, everything then becomes possible. So I want to be clear, this is not an invitation to stop moving, because, movement is medicine. It's just one of the most movement is one of the most powerful tools we have for regulation and mood and longevity and strength. But movement has to come from a place of nourishment, and it should never be punishment. It has to be calibrated to what your body actually needs on any given day, not whether you're, not what your guilt or your old programming saying that you should be doing. So some days that is a, hard strength session. Some days it's a walk. Some days it's yoga and breath and stillness. Like, some days it's doing nothing physical at all and letting your body do repair and recovery. And you'll never, you might not see that it's actually happening, but it's happening, right? Like, it's kind of like invisible. But the goal is not to do the less, is the goal. It's the goal to do what is right for your system on that day. And the only way you know what that is to actually listen to your body. So, I wear a watch to sleep. There's the Oura rings. There's the can't even remember what the other things are called that you can wear on your wrist, but like, it doesn't have a watch face. But like, you can wear these to bed. Check your metrics, check in with your body, ask yourself honestly, like, am I moving from a place of strength today, or am I moving from a place of fear? Because one of those builds you, the other obviously breaks you down. I learned that the hard way. And, I don't want you to have to learn it that way. But I want to be transparent with you about something right now, because, and before I actually close this out, but I think it matters that you hear this from me right now, because my own nervous system is a little more on edge than usual lately. And I know why. It's because we're in the middle of a cross-country move. Like, there's unknowns stacked on top of unknowns right now. And even for someone who teaches this work and lives this work and breathes this work, my body still feels it. The uncertainty still lands in my tissues. The nervous system still responds to change the way that it was designed to. So right now, I'm being very intentional about what goes on my plate. And I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about everything. Like, how how many commitments I say yes to, how much I ask of myself on days when my system's already working overtime just to process this transition. I'm giving myself a little extra love and a little extra grace. And I'm not apologizing for that, because, it's not weakness. It's exactly what I just spent this entire, video telling you to do. Practice what you teach. Rest when the body asks. Regulate before you push. Trust that the version of you who honors, her own limits is building something far more sustainable than the version who pushes through everything and calls it, strength or motivation or determination. Like, I share this because I want you to know that it's not just theory for me. This is my actual life. And the tools I teach are the ones I reach for first when my own system needs support. So, which brings me now to something that I am really excited about. Tomorrow is the first day of living the shift. And so this is a 2-day experience. We're going live, and it'll be on Thursday the 21st at 4 p.m. Central Time, and then Friday the 22nd at 4 p.m. Central Time. So one of the things we're going to go deep on is exactly this. Like how your nervous system works, how it connects to your consciousness, your awakening, and your ability to expand into the life that you're actually here to live, and how safety in your body is not separate from spiritual growth. It's actually the foundation of it. So if any of what I shared today resonates with you, Living the Shift is where we take it a little bit further. And it's free, it's live. It's going to be one of those experiences that you feel in your body long after it's over. So come join us. I will put the link in the comments. Or if you just want me to send it to you by DM or whatever, like just drop a comment in this video below. But, if you want to connect before then, just send me a message, right? Like we'll talk, we'll work through it together. But I really hope to see you guys in the room. Typically it's about like hour and a half. It depends on how much I decide that I want to talk about, and sometimes I tend to go down the rabbit holes, but I really hope to see you guys then, and see you live. If not, catch the recordings. I will be sending them out by email. So if you're not on the email list, definitely register for the event, and then you'll get put on the email list and you'll get reminders. So I'm really excited about that, and really excited to live the shift with you guys. And we'll talk about it a little bit more on what that looks like when we're living in this kind of 3D reality, and also trying to raise our consciousness and our vibration frequency up to that 5D living. So really fun. And I'll see you guys. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope this message really resonated with you too, because I feel like this kind of runs into all areas of life. Anyways, love you guys. Have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.